You'll be dead and you'll still have 5 days left to fill on your calendar.
Yeah, that's the problem with habit stacking. Getting really good at creating new habits is that you have to start getting rid of some at some point too, I think.
Hello, welcome to Drink the Coffee, Do the Work, where two creatives talk about doing work while they drink coffee. Sometimes there's a dog here. I'm Timothy Musa.
I'm Lindsay Coulter.
And today we're talking about morning routines.
Tim.
Yeah.
You came up with this topic just for me, didn't you?
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
you did.
Yeah.
I love a morning routine. Tim also loves a morning routine.
I do.
I'm so excited to talk about this today, Tim, because we are both morning people.
We are.
And it's so funny. We always joke that like 5 years ago, if you texted your friend at, midnight, you'd get a response right away.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody texts me after 10 o'clock at night, I'll respond around 5:45, 6 a.m. the next day. Maybe,
Yeah.
and
But that's the window.
that's the window. Like if you text me past, even sometimes after 8, I might start my wind down routine early.
Yeah, skincare.
Skincare. I got to get away from a screen for a couple hours before bedtime.
At least.
Our habits probably change every day. Well, not every day, but some.
They fluctuate.
Yeah. So let's say in your ideal world, you get to do your morning routine exactly how you like to do it, not being interrupted by work or the dog needs to go or whatever. What's your
Well, I try to
morning?
incorporate those things that I don't want to do into my morning routine so that they're
Perfect.
a part of every day, even though they may not be something I enjoy
Yeah.
necessarily. Like having a dog. This is Jose. He needs a walk. You wouldn't know it, but he's very energetic. He looks like he's about to die. But he's not.
It's because he's had a lot of walks.
He's had a lot of walks.
It's also hot as tits in here.
He's also not meant for the heat.
No.
But no, I will take him on at least a 2 kilometer, sometimes a 5 kilometer, sometimes a 10 kilometer walk every morning that we get up, just because he needs it. He needs to have mental and physical exercise. I need it because I need to get my calorie goal met.
Get your steps in.
Great product, by the way, Apple. That's like the first thing I do when I wake up. I put some clothes on and that are like presentable for going outside.
Perfect.
Put a leash on this guy, and then we just hit the trail. And
That's the first thing you do is go for a walk.
First thing.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have a coffee first.
No. Sometimes I'll set the coffee maker to make coffee. While
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
out.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Just
that.
because
Because you are a coffee person. So
I am a
Tim
coffee person.
really likes his coffee. He also likes the process of the coffee making. And actually, I feel like
Ritual. I like ritual a lot.
Yeah, I adopted the ritual from you. Grind my own beans in the morning, which I'm sure Taylor loves while he's still in bed. And I'm like,
Yeah. That's not enough.
It's
More.
one of my favorite.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I would make a really good cult member because I love ritual.
You love a ritual.
I love like having that kind of bed mass approach to things. But we'll play tennis here. What is the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
The first thing I do in the morning is I feed our cat and dog.
Very
Because our
important.
cat, Princess Penelope, screams like a banshee every morning. Like you'd think the cat's never eaten. She's a Maine Coon.
Can we hear?
No, I won't do it. It's violent. It's violent every morning. So unless I dealt with that first thing, she would just do that until she had been fed. So I feed her first thing in the morning. I put on a pot of coffee. I go through the ritual of the grinding of the beans. We do use a coffee maker because I typically will then go into my meditation while it's going.
Okay.
And I do a 10 to 15 minute meditation every morning while smelling the beans.
Would you call that a stack?
I would call that a habit stack for sure.
Yeah.
But because also as I'm coming out of my meditation, the aroma is now filling my kitchen and my living room. And it's like heaven, heavenly.
Yeah.
And sometimes after a meditation, I'm so relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could just sit here and like meditate and do yoga and like make it too long. So the coffee, the act of needing to get up, pour myself a coffee and have the coffee is good.
Yeah.
I'll have my coffee. That's where I start. And then, we have, I feel like we've touched on habit stacking in the past, but maybe not a ton.
Maybe not a lot.
We're big fans of habit stacking. So basically for those of you who are unfamiliar with habit stacking is when you have one habit that you are good at, whether it be because of necessity or be because you've already done it for a long time and you're good at it.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example of when I was trying to create a new habit. So this is if you're trying to form a new habit. Habit stacking is a really good way to do it because you already have one, and then that one triggers the next one, right? So for me, I was really bad at flossing my teeth 2 times a day.
Gotcha.
I was okay with it in the morning, but I don't know, I guess my dentist was like, you should be doing it 2 times a day
Not enough. Yeah.
because plaque buildup happens in 24 hours. So
Yep.
if you wait 5 hours, then you got a situation.
You got plaque, bro.
Yeah, you got plaque. So they were like, every 2 times a day, you should be doing it 2 times a day.
Yeah.
So I had to then build it into my evening routine, and I just could not wrap my mind around it. And my dental hygienist, Riley, absolute saint, said, what's the thing that you really enjoy doing in your evening routine that you don't allow yourself to do until you've done the first thing? And I'm like, genius, Riley. I do have it stacking all the time. Why didn't I think of this?
Yeah.
So I love my night skincare routine. That's what I look forward to the most in my night.
Okay.
So my night routine. So I don't allow myself to do that until I have flossed.
That's a perfect example of habit stacking.
Yeah. So I do not start my skincare routine until I've done it. So if you're trying to create a new habit, if you are just trying to create any kind of habits,
Yeah.
you probably have one. Even if it's a bad one. Okay, so let's say a good example of a bad, maybe
A bad example.
no,
a good example of a bad habit
A good
stack.
example of a bad habit stack where you're eating poorly, you're drinking a lot,
Yeah.
you're not exercising, and you're like,
Traveling is a perfect
I got to
example.
yank myself out
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so for a lot of people during pandemic, an evening drink became a routine.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to create a good habit and you're not able to, or you're not mentally prepared to get rid of the bad one, then you could say, okay, I know I'm going to have a glass of wine every night.
Yeah.
What's a thing I can convince myself to do in order to earn the glass of wine?
Right.
So I'll do a 30-minute walk or 30-minute exercise.
Okay.
Eventually, your good habits will start to outweigh your bad ones, and you will no longer want the bad ones because they won't serve you anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So you can get rid of the
like
nightly
self-selecting,
wine
right?
because you're like, well, I didn't need that. Now I exercised, so now I don't even want the glass of wine.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have a
I've
glass
got the
of wine after I
endorphins
just did all that.
from the exercise. I don't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
extra
So
endorphins.
if you
Yeah.
don't have great habits yet, it's not like, well, if you don't have one good habit, you can't stack on anything. No, you could stack on anything that you do mindlessly. As soon as it becomes mindless, it's a habit.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
so the second thing you do is you meditate and you drink coffee.
I drink
You
a coffee.
Prepare a coffee.
Love
pardon
a
me.
coffee.
Okay.
Have a coffee.
Yeah.
As I'm drinking my coffee, I do a putter, a quick tidy up.
Okay.
Because I can't really do much if I feel like my space is messy. And
Cluttered.
I feel like a lot of people are like this, maybe especially women. But if I feel like the kitchen's a mess,
Dishes.
there's
Yeah.
dishes in the sink or anything like that drives me bonkers. And I couldn't move on to my next step. So I'll do that while I'm drinking my coffee.
Yep.
And then the coffee will hit me and I'm like,
Woo.
I am ready for a run.
Yeah.
So then I'll have a run.
Okay.
I try to run 3 days a week, at least, and then I'll do shorter runs on the other days, or I'll do shorter exercise on the other days. But
Weather dependent.
no, I run inside.
Oh, right. You have a treadmill.
Yeah, we've got a treadmill. So it's actually not weather dependent.
Huh.
So it's really delightful.
Fantastic.
Buying a treadmill, lamest
Change your life.
purchase. You're like, this is so dumb. Everybody
Sidewalks are everywhere.
Everybody sells these on Kijiji
Yeah.
a month after they buy them. Well, usually a year after they buy them, and they've given up after a month.
Yeah.
This is dumb. No, best purchase ever. We also
Really?
bought it in the January before the pandemic hit, though.
Good timing. Really good
So very solid timing on that. So yeah, that's and from there I
Yeah.
kind of let the day
timing. B.
fall as it may.
Okay.
On my run, I start thinking about the kinds of things that I need to be doing for the
Okay.
rest of the day.
Good.
What's the first priority, whether it be because I have a lot of random things that I have going on, whether it's clothing line or maybe I have a shoot that day.
A wedding,
I've
engagement,
got wedding or maybe I just have a big email day, or maybe I'm taking the day off work entirely and I'm going to go, to the lake or something. Right. So that's generally where I would call I guess I have a shower.
Yeah.
I run, shower, and then
Start the day. Whatever's happening. So
Yeah.
the morning is complete once your shower is done from the.
So I used
morning.
to start that around 7:30, and I
Okay.
just found that was then I'm starting my work day around 9, and that's just way too late for me.
It seems late.
If I need to,
It's weird
do
to say that.
emails, I know.
Yeah.
This is 30.
Yeah.
9 is just way too late for me to start my day.
Might as well just go back to bed.
Yeah, so I started pushing it by half an hour increments. I also
Okay.
don't like to be rushed in the morning. So if that
No.
morning routine takes me an hour, awesome. If it takes me an hour and a half, great. I don't like to rush it. I like to be starting work by 8:30, 9-ish for sure. Give yourself enough time to have a relaxing start to your day.
Yeah.
If you start feeling behind, which I'm sure everybody's already done that, in high school, I started my day behind every single day of my high school career. right? That's a terrible way to feel. You're like running around like a chicken with your head cut off all day long. You know, I had a couple of days even last week like that stressed me out all week long. I'm stressed thinking about it.
Yeah.
That I started the day a little bit late, and then like a doctor's office, now I'm 2 hours behind.
Yeah. And obviously this isn't a thing that everyone can do. We can't all just do like start the day at 5 o'clock. There's other
in a
priorities.
blessed way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No kids or whatever, but
truly.
there are ways you can incorporate this
and incorporate
into
ways to make the morning about you
Mm-hmm.
and your priorities and what you want to accomplish in the day in small little ways. Like
for sure.
I take him for a walk first thing, but it's also for me. Like half the time the walk is for me.
It's actually great that
moving.
he forces you to go out
Yes.
because on the days when you're like, it's kind of rainy,
We're still going.
it's a little gray.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need
It's
to today.
minus 20.
I
We're
worked
still
out
going.
a ton yesterday. I don't
Yeah.
want to,
No.
whatever.
No.
You have a tiny little reason as to why you have to go out for that walk, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that, buddy.
Thanks, Jose.
He's totally
He's
passed
comatose.
out, eh? Yeah. Not listening to us at all.
No. So after my walk with him, I'll come home and then coffee. That's usually priority
Blessed.
number one, just
Yeah.
because it's become such a ritual.
Mhm.
I'm addicted to it. I'll admit it.
Truly.
And then from there, it is, like you said, like I'm the same way. I like to tidy things up. There's things in the sink. I get rid of those.
Yeah.
I like to have the station prepped for when I make my lunch. So I'll
Yes,
clean off the
so
chopping
good.
block, make sure the knives are ready to go.
Yeah.
And then from there, if my office needs tidying, I'll do that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I'll sit out on the balcony in our condo and just like enjoy
Beautiful.
the warm warmth.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
I love that. And I actually, you know what, now that you say that you sit outside and enjoy the warmth, I do think that my morning routine changes based on the season too. I totally wake up with the sun.
Yeah.
So in the summer, waking up at 5:45 is no
No
problem.
problem. Yeah.
In February, in the dead of winter, when I'm also not working as much either, so it doesn't matter if my day starts quite as early.
Yeah.
Waking up at 5:45 is incredibly painful. Incredibly painful. You're like,
It's so cold out.
it's gonna be 4 hours until the sun is up.
yeah. Yeah. I'm up before anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
But there's something so nice about being up before the rest of the world. Someone somewhere at some point said something along the lines of like waking up before the majority of people
Yeah.
gives you such an ego trip and such a sense of superiority, and it's not wrong.
Yeah. Like that TikTok where it's like you finish the box of greens and you're just like, am I better than everyone else?
Am I better than everybody
Am I better
else?
than everyone else?
I like will intentionally post on Instagram before 7 a.m. just so people know like she's superior.
She's better than all of us. When are you reading this? Oh, this was 48 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, wow. She was.
I just got up.
She
Yeah.
was up
She went
while
for a
you were
jog.
sleeping. You
She
idiots.
fed
Yeah.
the animal. She had her second cup of coffee. She meditated.
Like all jokes aside, though, there is a very good feeling about
Oh,
knowing that you're
yes.
diving into your emails before your clients are even awake.
Yeah.
Because when they wake up, that's an email that they won't immediately respond to. There's
Yeah.
something if you're a hater of emails like I am, I hate them. I especially these days, I am an unpaid full-time emailer, it
Yeah.
seems like, because of everything going on. It's like, I feel like a lot of us are in the same scenario that it takes far more communication these days to get anywhere because plans are canceled and rescheduled, and it's no fault of our clients, but it's
Totally.
a lot of communication and it can be exhausting.
100%.
So I try to do that early in the morning on the days that I have set aside. I don't respond to emails every single day because it's just not good for me. Like
Yeah.
I will respond to the ones that need to be responded to
Exactly.
every day,
Yeah.
but I do not sit down and answer all of my emails every day. Maybe that would be a good way for me to hate them less, is if I did do that, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
But I also think if you answer them every single day, you're going to get the same number back every day.
You will. Yeah.
And sometimes it just doesn't require a conversation, but you'll get that volley effect.
This
If
email
you're-
could have been an understanding
Yes.
as opposed to another email.
For sure.
Yes.
If at 11
Yeah.
o'clock in the morning, the people you're emailing are also sitting at their computer, you're going to have a volley. Whereas I don't need a volley.
Yeah.
I need to just send it out into the world and have them be like, yeah.
Especially because so much of what you do, and that's not to dismiss it, but like so much of what you and I do is a pleasurable activity for people.
For
It's
sure.
photography of their
They-
families.
Who
It's a
wouldn't
branding
love to
session.
chat about their weddings?
Absolutely,
Right?
right?
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not
They're at
these
the office
days. Yeah.
or their home office, and they're
Yeah.
doing monotonous work that maybe
Yeah.
isn't that inspiring, or maybe it is, but it's an escape from their productive wheel where they feel
they
like
want to
can
have a chit chat about
have
their
a bit
creativity.
of novelty.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like, oh, this is so fun. Let me come
Yeah.
up with like,
Yeah.
let's chat about outfits. Let's
Where
chat
it's the
about
least
this.
creative part of your job as a creative person
Is the emailing.
email communication.
Yeah.
It's important, but
and
it's
I love having those conversations
Sure.
about what you're going to wear for your family session, and
Yep.
like that makes your shoot so much better, is coming up with those things. But when emails turn into a back and forth, it also becomes really inefficient. So
Totally.
instead of somebody putting their thoughts into a 5 bullet point message, they'll have 5 emails back and forth when
Yeah.
they think, oh, she's here and she's on. So
not-
that's
yeah.
a huge reason
Yeah.
why I add that into my morning routine. So typically after a shower, that's when I will jump into some emails and try to deal with them, because 3 p.m. emailing is just a wild time to be emailing people.
Yeah.
Or I'll schedule them out. So if you've ever gotten an email from me at midnight and you're hearing this, like, this girl goes to sleep at 8, I schedule them.
It goes out when it
I'm
goes
not
out
up
for a
emailing
reason.
at midnight most days. Sometimes. I love a morning routine. I think it's the most blessed addition that I've added to my life in the last 5 years. I feel like I don't know how I existed. My brain was always messy prior to. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's such a simple addition to a day. When I was growing up, this is a total aside, and oh my gosh, you know what?
That's what this is
I'm
about.
going to send you a photo of
Okay.
this. I have B-roll. So my father's an artist. He used to make signs for a living. He's now retired. He was a graphic designer.
Okay.
And when airbrushes were first a thing,
Oh, like the t-shirt airbrushing?
you could do t-shirt airbrushing. He made me a poster in the morning of Lindsay's morning routine.
Oh.
And
okay.
it was because I was like at an age, I think it was probably 6 or 7, when they wanted me to start being a bit more self-sufficient in the morning. They didn't have to stand there and be like, brush your teeth, brush your hair, put on your clothes, whatever,
Eat your
right?
breakfast. Yeah.
So my dad made me this adorable thing that is me doing all of these activities. So I think there's like 6. It's like 6
like a
little
cartoon.
squares,
Oh.
and I go through the stages. And it's a picture of me brushing my teeth. It's a picture of me brushing my hair.
Aw.
Picture of me putting on clothes. Like, and my dad made this for me. And so as a child,
Yeah.
a great sense of a morning routine was given to me by my parents, because they knew how important it was.
They made you into a story.
How else?
Yeah.
How else were they going to have an efficient morning if they didn't have a routine? So I'm sure they had their own routines. And then as of high school, I was like, no, I'm sleeping in until the moment before I have to get in the car.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a bagel that's not even with cream cheese on it in the car, like just ragged.
Yeah.
And I, at some point, just said, screw the morning routine. And I lost the sense of like how important that was. And I'm so happy I found it again, because it's like just, it's leveled
it's
up
better.
everything.
Yeah.
It makes my days more enjoyable and happier.
I know so many people who work, whether it be traditional jobs or more of an entrepreneur lifestyle, it's that 11th hour. They're just like, well, I can sleep in for another 5 minutes. I'm going to sleep in for another 5 minutes. And
Totally.
you're missing out on so much of things
And
that we
then that
can't.
becomes a habit in your
Yes.
life, that it's not just the morning that's rushed. And it's
Yeah.
not just that, like, it's that you show up 5 minutes before your
You put a
commercial
wall
shoot's
up
supposed
to
to
a
happen.
thing. Yeah.
And like you're racing to the car, and you're racing to your next shoot, and you're racing to your next phone call with a
It becomes
client.
your lifestyle, right?
And racing and feeling behind, even though
Yeah.
you're doing the same thing. Right?
Exact
like,
same thing.
You haven't given yourself more time.
No.
You've actually taken away from yourself. Like, you're not like, oh, well, if I just leave it until the last second, I'll have more time. No, because your brain is always going to be thinking about it. Then that drive to, say, your client meeting that
Yeah.
could have spent mentally preparing for the client meeting
Yep.
is spent stressing about missing the client meeting, stressing about what they're going to think when you show up 5 minutes late. Stress. You show up, you botch the meeting. You're just making every single step in your life harder
Yeah.
by not being over prepared.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know how people fix that in themselves. It's a habit shift for sure, but I think it can start with something as small as a morning routine.
For sure. And
You change your whole day.
it's just thought of like the idea that you go to work and then you go home and you relax.
Yes.
It's kind of the inverse. Like you relax before you go to work, so you're ready, you're prepared.
Yes.
And everything's kind of like in this not meat sandwich. Sorry, vegetarian.
Sick. In a tempeh sandwich.
In this tempeh sandwich, where the bread is the relaxation and the work is in the middle, and then you have that kind of buffer zone in the morning, and it's just such a lovely thing to do. And I think if you're not doing it, you should try it.
Give it a go.
Give it a go.
Let us know what you think of that. If you are a habit stacker, if you're a morning person, actually, if you're not a morning person, let us know why. Is it because you're a night owl and you just get all of your best work done at night? Could be. Tim and I used to be night owls.
Yeah.
We used to text each other all the time, 1:00 in the morning, having long conversations because we were up working. But you know what? It's because we were behind.
Because we weren't using our mornings.
We were not using our days well at all. So if you're a night hawk, let us know. What do your days look like? Do you feel like you're behind all the time, or are your days nice and relaxed and you just get your best work done at night? But we would love to hear from you guys. If you try any of these habit stacking routines, rituals, we would love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Get involved in this conversation with us. Although we're just chatting with each other, we would love to hear from you guys
here too.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. Thanks, Tim. This has been swell.
Lindsay,
Cheers.
Always a treat.